Hello, all. Thank you for being here today. And fact is, I've been asked to speak and to have a partake in the conference. And many people have asked me about President Trump because I'm a longtime friend of President Trump. And as many of you know, I'm a longtime friend of President Clinton. And my philosophy is it's not about being a Democrat, not about being a Republican. It's about having common sense and doing the right thing in a city, a state, a country, the world. And I believe both President Clinton and President Trump have that common sense. And the one thing we've learned, common sense is not so common. And um, I went, our major businesses we're in the energy business and we're in the real estate business. And now that I hit my 70s, I have hobbies. One of the hobbies, I bought the radio station, WABC in New York, and we bought it. It was number 28. It's now, according to Nielsen, number one in the country. And the reason why is we tell the truth. I'm on every day, no matter how hard I work in running my companies all day long. At 5 o'clock, I go downstairs to where the studios are. I'm on every day. And it's when you tell the truth, you feel good about things. And I grew up in a period of time when Walter Cronkite, 92% of the American people believed Walter Cronkite. You know how many people believe now in broadcasting? 8%, 10%, 12%? You tell me. How many people believe what politicians tell them? Not far away from that. So my mission is to get the truth out to the world. Right now, WABC is number one in the country. We are starting to stream in 173 countries, except the ones that knock us off, that don't want the truth. So we're going to be going international in the near future. And I admired and worked very hard for President Clinton. I admire and work hard for President Trump. And people, when President Trump was running, they said, oh, he's a warmonger. I think he's a peacemonger. He wants world peace. And that's what he strives for. And he works 18 hours a day to do that. And I'm willing to sit down and you ask me the questions, because then you ask me the questions that everybody wants to hear. Thank you.
Well, that's a great introduction, John, speaking the truth. So I know you've got a radio show to go to, I think at 9:30. Is that right? You have to?
No, but I have to run the rest of the company.
Okay.
The radio show's not till 5 o'clock, but I'm still the CEO. My son has become president and COO, so I'm slowly moving more things towards him. But my other object in life, and we talk about it every Sunday when we had Dr. Peter Michalos on the show, and I've nicknamed him Live Long and Prosper, because at our age, what the next objective is, you want to live to 100. And human beings, we are capable of living to 100. We just have to eat right. And there's so many, if you listen to my Sunday show, you'll find out it's easy to get to 100 if you're careful. I mean, one of the things that Dr. Michalo says, no alcohol, no sugar, no salt. That's a good beginning.
Okay.
No dairy products.
Don't want to be too careful. We won't have any fun at all.
Well, my other objective is to stay alive and help my kids and grandkids.
Great. That's great. In my introduction, I talked about President Trump being very much a man on a mission in his second term, based on the radical nature of his policies and the speed with which he is trying to implement them. What would you say is his primary mission?
His primary mission? He was a good president during his first term. Then he spent 4 years, as the American people say, on the beach. And he observed what happened between 2020 and 2024. That is making him a better president in 2025. His objective is to have world peace. He is more worried about world peace. He's more worried about people dying. I'll give you an example. It pains him. It pains him to see thousands of both Russians and Ukrainians dying every week. Thousands. I mean, he said 5,000. It could be 4,000. It could be 3,000. Nobody knows, but it's a lot. And there's no purpose in the war. I mean, I keep telling the people how the war began. The United States gave up Afghanistan. China took it over. We gave them. They took over $85 billion worth of military equipment that we left there. Because the way President Biden left, he just left everything there. Putin says, wow, China got all of this for nothing. Let me attack Ukraine. And if President Trump was still president in 2024, Putin would have never attacked Ukraine. That war would have never happened. And look what happens in Afghanistan. We had women's rights there. I don't know why women don't yell about there is no rights anymore again. And nobody yells about it. We have just look what's happening in the Red Sea. That they were going to shoot down tankers and oil being spilled into the Red Sea. Where's the environmentalists? Cananas. Nobody says, "Oh my God, it's horrible what the Iranians are doing." And who's paying the Iranians? The Iranians are being paid by America. You say, what do you mean paid by America? Well, when Biden took the price of oil under President Trump was 50, 55, 60. President Biden made oil the enemy of the people, took the price of oil to $100 a barrel. It went to 120, it stayed at 80, 90. What happened? We made the Russians very rich. Make the Russians rich again. Good expression. Make the Iranians rich again. Iranians were only putting out 400,000 barrels a day. President Biden allowed them to put out 2 million, 3 million barrels a day. And they're selling it to China. And the Iranians made so much money. They had nothing to spend it on. They spend it on criminals. They spent it on the Hamas. They spend it on the Hezbollah. They spend it on the Houthis. They paid them to go in. By the way, I broadcasted this on WABC originally. $10,000 a family for Hamas to attack Israel and kill Israel. Kill the Israelis. I was wrong. When the intelligence things came out later, my intelligence was not as right. It was $20,000 a family. All right? To go in and kill the Israeli people. And they were living peacefully up to that point. All right, they were digging tunnels, but the Palestinians were working. All right, I understand. But the Iranians paid. I shouldn't say the Iranians. I should say the Iranian government, because Iranians are very good people. Persians are very good people. I have a lot of friends that are Persians. It's the leadership of Iran paid the Hamas to go in and kill Israelis. Commit. And where did the money come from? It came from America, because we're paying double the price of oil, and the money went and make Iran rich again. All right?
What do you think?
Did I say that?
No. This is interesting for
It's the
the
truth.
audience, I think. And so I wanted to ask you. Obviously, the president is in the Middle East at the moment. Has been in the Middle East the past few days. What kind of a deal do you think he wants to make with Iran?
I think it's very easy to be a warmonger, to go in and destroy the nuclear facilities. Because if you take a survey, if you take a poll, and you say about, do you want Iran to have nuclear or atomic bombs? I would say the poll would be 80% of the world would say absolutely not. After all, look what Iran did with the excess money. Again, I use the word Iran. I mean the leadership of Iran. I don't mean the Persian people. If they distributed the money to go and kill Israelis and close down the Red Sea and attack Israel from Hezbollah, can you trust them? Anybody here says, "Oh, I can trust Iran with the atomic bomb"? Anybody here can say yes? I'd love to meet you. I mean, you cannot allow this government to achieve the atomic bombs, because you never know what's going to happen.
Great, thank you. I want to bring it back to the economy, because some quick fire questions maybe before your time and you have to go. Obviously, you can't have a revolutionary presidency without causing some disruption. Some would say that President Trump's policies are too disruptive. Would you agree with that? For the US and global economy, might business lose faith in President Trump?
President Trump is not a politician. He's a businessman. And when you go and say, as a businessman, see my building, I want $1 billion for that building. You don't really want $1 billion for the building, but you started $1 billion. That's just saying the international community, us New Yorkers, know President Trump. So we know what he means. But the international community, shocked, my God. He comes up with numbers, but that's his style. And whether you love him or hate him, that's his style. And I believe he wants to make a deal with every single person, every single country, and he wants to make a fair deal. Because, and the numbers are not necessarily in the financials. I'll explain what I mean. When we run a $2 trillion deficit and we're giving away money, here's $100 million to have better transgender people. I mean, God, give me a break. I mean, where's the common sense? I don't mind helping people. I want to help people, but there's some things that say, let's let common sense prevail. We always want to help people. What I believe that the joke I tell, it's a joke, but maybe it's more real than not, on radio last night, is George Washington was the father of our country. He saved the United States. He brought them together. I believe President Trump wants to be next to George Washington as bringing together the world. He wants to be the world president to make peace in the entire world and to bring it together and have fair deals, fair business deals for the United States, not to necessarily harm any other country. And I know some of the Greek press asked me about, will he protect Greece? Absolutely. He will not let anything bad happen to Greece. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to Cyprus. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to Israel. In other words, the way you keep the free world free, and I want you to listen carefully, unless you have a strong United States, a strong Washington, we're the ones that are going to keep the free world free. Otherwise, we've got problems.
Great. And how do you see transatlantic relations developing over the course of the next year?
I think you say the course of the next year. I'm going to tell you in the course of the next few months. I think President Trump wants to accomplish everything by the fall. I think you can have a great economy in the world. He wants to do business. I think you can have a great, look at the people that don't know President Trump. And the stock market went crazy, went down. Oh, my 401k plan is. The truth is that it just went back up again.
Sure.
Because, yes, he yelled and screamed. And people that don't understand him were the ones selling. When the market was at all-time low, I was buying because I knew it was going to turn around.
So President Trump is a misunderstood president. I mean, do you think a lot of this is just an overreaction, particularly in Europe, maybe, to President Trump? And what do you make of all those saying that the US is heading for a recession, the global economy is heading for a recession? Is that just an overreaction as well?
I think they're full of crap. Okay? The United States, I see, look, the Dow Jones was down to 35,000, 36,000 a few weeks ago. It's back up to 42, 43. I think by the end of the year, you're going to have the 50,000 Dow Jones. I think the United States President Trump making sure the United States, instead of creating a deficit, to create a more even Steven economy between the world and the United States. And I look forward to them. I work closely with the Canadian government because Canada is part of America, North America. And North America, Canada, and the United States together, we have infinite amount of oil. And people keep saying fossil fuels. I shocked at Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business, which I was on a couple months ago. It's not fossil fuels. Oil is not made from the dinosaurs. Oil is made by the planet Earth to keep the plaques moving. And that's what it's for. The planet Earth makes the oil, makes it as a lubricant. And the only problem in that business is when you do fracking and you remove oil from the higher levels and you remove too much, guess what? That's where you have earthquakes. Que sera, sera, that's what happens.
Great. Just a final quick question.
Whatever you like. I'm here to help you.
Thank you very much. Well, the focus of this event is the prospects for strengthening relations between Greece, Cyprus, Israel, and the US, the 3+1 alliance. Do you think the region will be in the president's sights and on his agenda? How do you see the prospects for strengthening defense, security, economic ties between the US and Israel, Greece, and Cyprus?
I think that President Trump loves Israel. He loves Greece. He's sending Kimberly Guilfoyle there. And Kimberly is very close to President Trump. He has his ear. Not every ambassador can just dial the cell phone and get the president. So I think Kimberly Guilfoyle will do a great job for Greece. I think Cyprus is going to be safe. So doing business in the next 4 years while President Trump is president, he's going to make sure business is a success.
Super. And that's a good note to end this conversation with. John, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning. I'm sure everybody enjoyed your input to the discussion.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next year, I hope.
Same time next year?
Same time next year.